100th episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of RWorld Talk. Happens to be our 100th episode, and I am so excited to share this time with you all and with our fantastic CEO, Miss Dionna Hall. My goodness, I got Dionna back again.
Yeah, I know. You guys totally kind of keep me away from this, which is probably good because a little bit more interesting than maybe some of the things I have to say every day. But
Well, we certainly have had some interesting people over the course of the last 3 years, which I can't believe that we've been doing this for so long, and our members are absolutely eating it up every single week.
yeah, I mean, I think you all have done a really great job diversifying the speakers and from different areas. And we've had really some really big speakers, nationwide come into our studio, which we really appreciate. Obviously, it's quite the travel to come over to this office place, but it's just made our world library that much richer.
Yeah.
And so this podcast was just a glimmer in our leadership's eyes a few years ago. We finally got it off the ground. There's lots going on, but we had the perfect person, obviously, to take this forward, and that was you.
Oh, shucks. You know what? It's been quite the journey. I remember still today doing episode 1 with David, and I was nervous as heck. This is a big undertaking, and it's always fascinating when I go and watch back an episode and realize that these conversations that we're having, how many people it's really affecting. And we hear from the members all the time. We just did all those broker VIPs, and you had so many members that were coming up to us and just really thanking us for putting out this information, thanking us for getting those guests onto the show, which is really awesome. We've had some spicy episodes.
Yeah.
We've had some fantastic information, great leadership talks, obviously. But then even having people like, from Bravo TV and HGTV and things like that. It's incredible what you guys have
You
done.
are like
Staff
kind of
to put them in.
famous. And I might have just say,
Local famous.
huge commitment on your part. I mean, thank you again for being our host of Our World Talk. It has been a lot to take on with your busy schedule. For those of you that don't know, we're filming in our West Palm Beach office. Chris is from Fort Lauderdale,
Yeah.
so the commitment is real.
The commitment is real, but it's all for the members. I mean, just hearing the feedback from you guys on who you want to see, what you liked about a certain episode. I mean, that's what keeps this whole train going on and on, because it's a bit of a hike to get up here. Some days it's an hour, some days it's 2 hours, depending on what time we've got somebody booked. But
Sometimes we lose power.
sometimes we lose power. When we had Holly here in that big storm, that was absolutely insane. You guys are going to see a clip from Holly in a little bit here. But we've had some really outstanding guests. And funny enough, I was talking to Anthony before heading up here today, and we were talking about Elliot Eisenberg, the bow tie economist,
Absolutely.
and his forecast on what was going to happen with the market. It was like a fortune cookie for us, and it was like really cool to look back at an episode like that and say, man, this guy had it right, and now he's
Our consultant,
now
our economic consultant. For those of you who don't know, the bow tie economist is doing some economic reports via video for all of you to enjoy now. And he's been an excellent partner for us.
Yep.
We've had him speak at a couple of Realtor Revolutions, and so funny.
he is always a big hit.
He is always doing a great job balancing that.
Yep. Well, it certainly has been a journey, as you said, but it's really amazing the caliber of guests that we've had coming in, and really who sat in your seat. You've sat in that seat, and it's always interesting to hear different perspectives, and especially when it's people from across the country that are maybe coming from different markets or a completely different background, like somebody like Nikki Watson, who came in and really talked about all the design trends that are going on, what's in, what to stay away from. We had a fun little game with her. Craig Conover talking about Southern Charm and his time on TV. It's fascinating to hear these people's stories and sort of how they got to where they are today. And look at us here. We've got our own story, and 100 episodes later, you guys are still tuning in, still listening, and we're just so grateful that we get to put out this content.
And I think that I heard that we are really a top ranked podcast in the state of Florida.
Top 10 real estate podcast. Yeah.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah. Super exciting.
Yeah. So, I mean, besides your commitment to Our World as our hosts, I also wanted to say a huge thank you to our communications team. A big dedication from Anthony Acevedo, our Senior Vice President of Communications, and David Stack, who does all the filming and all the editing for us. He's amazing. And there are so many other people to thank, but these two staffers really kind of took this on with you and ran with it.
Yeah, it's been amazing. And we can't forget the fantastic Helene Crisafulli down in the Fort Lauderdale office that books all the talent. for the podcast. So if there's anybody that you are dying to see for episode 101 to 200, please let Helene know, and we'll make sure that we get them in the hot seat and get as much info out of them as we possibly can.
Yes, she is a shark when it comes to nailing down her speakers that
Yeah.
we've been all on the list before. So
Absolutely. So we've got some big names coming up soon for you guys, but we also wanted to do some throwbacks to, I wouldn't say our top 10, but some of our most memorable moments here on the podcast. Take you guys down memory lane with some of the exciting guests that we've had. We've had some, like I said in the beginning, some spicy conversation, especially with somebody like James Dwiggins or Anthony Lamacchia. They had a lot to say, and
lots of
they
passion there.
yeah, they weren't afraid to let the passion show. But we have had a lot of fun here as well. We've got some jokers that have been on the podcast, and another shout out to David Searle for sitting in and running one of those episodes for us when NAR President Kevin Sears came into town, as well Jonathan Lickstein, who's our president this year, that sat in for me when I was out of town to do another interview with a Texas president, which was awesome. They both did a fantastic job. Hopefully, you guys get to hear more from them in the future as well. But with that being said, why don't we kick it back and throw these guys some clips?
And what better way to celebrate our 100th episode than to look at some of our most memorable moments here on the Our World podcast?
So, David, why don't we kick it off with one of our most watched episodes of all time, Brian and Mika. Let's talk about some of the pitfalls. How is it working when you guys are doing these renos together? I mean,
you want me to leave the room?
No,
we need honesty. We need honesty.
I'm gonna let you start the answer and then I'll chime in.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, it is challenging.
It is
I will
challenging.
say that. I mean, we work together all day long, and then we come home, and it's like, okay, what do you talk about? Like, what'd you do today? Well, I was with you all day. I will say a lot of times, though, I'm on the construction site, and she's more with the clients in the design studio,
Okay.
Shopping. So it is kind of fun for us, too, because we see what each other is doing the same time the viewers see.
Right.
Which is always kind of interesting. But, I mean, it's...
Oh, you're speechless.
No, I was going to say, I love working with her most days.
Most days.
Most days.
Problem is, Brian and I are both type A. We are both Aries. We are both bossy.
I'm an Aries
This
too.
is
Let's
turning
go.
out- This is turning into a counseling session.
Right.
So
Well, that's what realtors do. We're here for therapy, right?
it's like, bounce ideas. I mean, but honestly, we do have a really good chemistry of knowing like when to choose our battles. But when it comes to personal projects, that is hard.
It's harder.
Because if we don't agree on something, neither one of us wants to back down.
Right.
It's like, no, this is better than this. And so that has been a growing experience for us with like Savannah and our personal home and things like that. Because when it's your own money too, it's like, wait, what?
You know what's crazy? When we work with our clients, it's easy for us to help them make decisions.
Right.
Yeah.
When we're making decisions for ourselves, it is impossible. It's almost like selecting what you want to eat for dinner at the Cheesecake Factory. Like the menu is just way too big.
Page menu.
I'm like, no, like the older I get, I want like two choices. I want A or B.
Uh-huh.
What do you want?
Certainly always a crowd favorite. We had Elliot Eisenberg, the bow tie economist. Let's talk about you a little bit. Let's kick it off. Where did you get the name bow tie economist? Is this self-proclaimed, or is there some sort of a story behind it?
No, it's self-proclaimed, but I began wearing bow ties, maybe now 20 years ago or so.
Okay.
21 years ago. I always wanted to wear them, and I was told I'm too tall, they won't look good on me, they'll exacerbate my length or height or whatever. But at one point I said, I'm already getting like 30, 35. I got to get on with life. I want to wear the damn bow tie.
Okay.
And I wore it, and I've been wearing it ever since.
Well, it looks good on you.
Thank you.
I got a question that everybody wants to know. Are they clip-on, or you do it on time?
Oh, they're real. You can tell they're real almost always if the middle is a little twisted.
Okay.
If it's perfect, it could be legit, but it's odds are it's fake.
So nobody's that good.
It's you have to really work it hard to get it perfect in the middle.
Okay. Anthony Acevedo says that your idol is Bill Nye the Science Guy. What's going on?
Sort of, kind of. He's a little frenetic and gets excited and talks a lot like this and moves around a lot.
Okay.
So yeah, there's some of that. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, we see you emulate that quite a bit when you're on stage.
Thank you.
I was going to wear a bow tie today, but I didn't know if I'd be breaking any sort of like trademark rule or something. So
I'm now
you know what? I better
disappointed
not.
that you didn't do it.
Okay. And
Next time.
I do as well know how to tie a bow tie. So I knew the answer to that question already just by looking at it. Next up, why don't we go down memory lane with Nikki Watson from HGTV? Let's play a little game. We're going to call it Hold Your Horses or Yes, Y'all.
Okay.
So let's talk about some paint colors.
Paint. Oh, I love paint.
Okay, here we go. Paint colors, gray.
Hold your horses.
Okay. Beige.
Yes, y'all.
Off-white.
Yes, y'all.
Okay. So we're like in earth tones right now.
Yes, we're going back to warm grays, the colors that we've known for years and years.
Grays.
Grays. So like accessible beige and agreeable gray. Those colors are back.
What about wood for accents?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, y'all.
Yes, y'all.
Yes, y'all. Let's do this. Wood is huge right now. Any natural product, natural materials are in.
Okay.
Now.
And wall art. That's not necessarily hold your horses or a yes, y'all, but when it comes to wall art, what are we looking for?
I think that we're doing more molding. Do you know that
Molding.
molding?
Okay.
Yeah, we're doing moldings are huge, like modern wainscoting, those kind of things where you're seeing a lot of trim and accent wall, what we call the new accent wall. So we're seeing a lot of that. So wall, it basically people are not even putting art up on these kind of walls. So they're doing more moldings and like the old school paneling is back.
Stop.
It is.
Wood panel walls.
Crazy. Because I've told 1,000 people to paint it, but it's back.
Get out of town.
Yeah.
My goodness. Okay. Wow, that's a shocker for me. Okay. Well, you know what they say? Everything comes back,
Everything
right?
comes back. It's just going to be recycled. Everything's recycled.
Okay.
Brick is coming back as backsplash.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
They could do brick.
Huge. Brick is, and it's just classic. It's never going away. It's just kind of like subway tile.
Right.
You'll see that. But brick is exposed brick in kitchens. Huge. People are doing brick islands. It is big right now. I just like contrast. I think that looks good. It's sleek. But I don't know how long it'll be in style. And I just think that the contrast of a backsplash just looks, to me, I just like that one better.
Okay. But you just mentioned subway tile. So now I got to ask you about this because I hear this all the time. Some people are like, absolutely not. This is so like, early 2000s. Are we still doing subway tile?
We are, but we're laying it on a vertical. So I don't know if you've seen that,
yes,
but the vertical is super popular and color. So people are doing the vertical subway tile in a color that just kind of brings out the kitchen. I think that we'll see more of that even in bathrooms.
Okay.
But subway tile is still a thing.
What about the herringbone?
It's kind of going away, but they're doing more floors. So you'll see more herringbone tile, wood, those kind of things.
So that's coming back.
It's coming back. Yeah.
Okay.
Entryways, you'll see that a lot.
Okay. God, we're getting a lot of good information out of you. I love this. Okay.
No, this was designed to client.
Okay. Decorative walls. What about shiplap?
Shiplap is shipped out. It is a hold your horses.
Certainly one of my favorite episodes is visiting with Craig Conover at the Home Design and Remodeling Show. How necessary do you think home staging is?
Even as a consumer, I think it makes a world of difference. I mean, it just does.
Yeah.
And I've been looking for places actually for my parents right now in Charleston because they're interested in spending more time down there. And the houses that I'm drawn to are staged. At least they're photos online.
Right.
And it allows you to picture, you fantasize, right? Like if you see a bunch of empty rooms, you really have to have a strong imagination to see it. And a lot of people can't see what a room could be. So when you stage it, I don't know, that it gets me. It just
I
does.
absolutely agree. Some people just don't have the vision to see like what could happen with a space.
Right.
But when we've got properties that are perfectly staged and, you've got lots of nice colors, obviously, well, I'll tell you one thing. We use staging because it hides all the imperfections that may be going on with the house. You got like a funky room or like a, weird wall or something
But
like
that's how
that.
you feel like, and that's that's a great move. But you really are buying into that staged room. I mean, at least when I've looked at properties before, I end up paying more attention to the staging of the house than the house itself. I probably shouldn't, but it works.
I go and look at so many houses, and when I walk into somebody's closet and like every single shirt is perfectly spaced and all that sort of thing, I'm like, God, I need this house.
Yeah.
But it's not really the house that I need. I just need to organize my damn closet.
Exactly.
One of the most fun times we've had on the podcast was sitting down with Holly Meyer Lucas during a crazy storm where we actually lost power, but the audio kept rolling.
I mean, I love the beach. Like, I love it. Woo! I love the beach.
If you guys are picking up on that, we're having like insane thunder and lightning.
I'm so curious if it ends up picking up on these mics, and the fact that you guys poured the resources into making this room and featuring agents and featuring like that to me is one of the most valuable things that you guys.
That's what we're all about, trying to give you as much value as possible.
Oh, I love it. I think it's so smart.
It'll spit out like a 2-hour course that you can go and teach at a hotel lobby ballroom.
Yeah.
So if we are still live and still going, which I think that we are, we just had a big boom here and lost our power for a second. So if the camera went blank for a minute, we are back in action.
How good is FPL? Like, we never lose power here.
Yeah, right.
Like, whenever the power does flicker, it reminds me about how good our utilities are.
100%.
FPL is like, I mean, we are lucky here.
We are super lucky. Can't forget the time that David Searle stepped in and did me a solid hosting Kevin Sears, the NAR president.
Well, if there's one thing I know about realtors, they adapt and they're resilient. And those that can adapt
Very
sooner,
resourceful.
yeah, are going to be they're going to be able to be very, very successful. But the more information the consumer has, the better off we will be. Local media, they know that realtors are a fabric of the community, right? That go to a PTO meeting or go to a Little League field, you're going to see realtors on the sideline volunteering at a soup kitchen or a Habitat for Humanity build. We are the ones who are the front lines in volunteering when it comes to community efforts. We know the communities, we live here, these are our neighbors. We're going to do everything we can to help. And so what we need is members that have media contacts with local media. Get your story told. And NAR has tools and resources for the members. They'll do training if they need it. They'll help them with op-eds. If you're interested in being a media surrogate for the National Association of Realtors, and we have over 500 so far across the country, please email surrogates@nar.realtor. We'll give you the tools to be able to help tell your story, tell the story of your clients about how what we do on a daily basis is good, just, and right for the community. I've never heard anybody say when they grow up they want to rent a 450 square foot flat, right? It's the American dream. It's that little house with the white picket fence. And what we are doing is we are helping to change the lives of so many people by giving them their piece of the American dream.
It was really fun getting to spend some time with our 2025 RWorld president, Mr. Jonathan Lickstein.
Actually started in the industry in property management, doing vacation rentals and property management. And I am glad to not be doing that anymore. But with that being said, I moved into sales and had to run around both in English and Spanish. Fortunately, I started in shorts and flip-flops selling real estate, and that was fun. Wish we could go back to that one. But anyhow, going through that experience gave me the perspective to then be able to lead others as a broker going through that same experience and be able to give them some of the tips and tricks and methods that I utilized and in turn make others successful. So instead of having to find success and have closings myself, I'm finding success by making others successful. And I really, really value that role. Now I go even further in and I'm behind the scenes trying to make success for others without them knowing that I'm making success for them, right, and providing these tools and not really knowing where it's coming from. But it's not about the glory. It's about the result and the satisfaction on everybody's face when they're able to do things. And it goes the same here at the association.
Right. Well, you say you can't sell real estate in shorts and flip-flops anymore, but I got to disagree with that because I have actually had clients that yelled at me because I showed up all dressed up. I think we talked about this in a different episode of this podcast way back. But I had people that were like pissed off at me that I showed up all dressed up and they're like, man, we're friends. Why are you like, it's 80 degrees outside, 90 degrees outside. Like you need to, next time I see you, you better be in shorts and sandals because you're making me uncomfortable. So we still do get to sell real estate occasionally in shorts and flip-flops.
I'm not sure anyone wants to see my calves or my toes anymore. So I'll leave that one to you there, Chris.
Right on. It's always so special when we have people come from out of town, like 2025 Florida Realtors president Tim Weishire.
I believe that real leadership is really about not yourself and not the prestige that comes with office and position, which is, that's great and it's an honor, but it's really about how do you build an impact or a process or a runway for people to really be successful. And so for me, it's really about how do I do the best I can in my limited abilities to speak into and love and serve and lead our association into a place to where it's bigger and it's better than I'll ever be able to make it. and I will be this very small mark on it. The truth of it is, in 2025, you guys will all be like, oh, Tim Weishire, that's great. And in 2026, you'll be like, who's Tim Weishire? I don't even remember this guy anymore. And for me, that's perfectly fine. Right. Like perfectly fine. Because I always believe it should be about the impact and not the position.
And who could forget Mike Staver being on the Realtor Revolution stage?
But the challenge is often we find ourselves in a set of circumstances where we're either asked to lead or we're compelled to lead, or God forbid, voted on to lead. Voluntold, that's right. And then it's this cascading thing, and nobody really tells us about that, right? Yeah. And so I think what it doesn't come with instructions means is that leadership happens in the moment, and it happens circumstance to circumstance and person to person. The extent to which we're able to lean into that and be other focused helps us be able to navigate that better. Now, obviously, I'm in the business of developing leaders, so it's important to get some training. But you and I both know we enter circumstances every day where we're like, this isn't what the brochure promised. Right. Exactly. What am I going to do?
Yeah. Where do you feel the real estate community is completely dialed in and is really excelling right now? And where do you think that we have room for improvement?
Yeah. I think it's really dialed in terms of the responsiveness that has happened at the state and local level to prepare realtors to be successful. I think that has been really dialed in. I think something else, I think the highest level performers in our industry are dialed into the notion of what I call appreciated value, which is that the person I'm providing value to, let's say that you're my client, I'm really good at diagnosing what you want and need and then provide it. I think the highest performers are dialed in there. I think where we still have a gap is I think we're too concerned about how we're going to get paid and what the forms are, and not concerned enough about conversations and relationships.
You just hit the nail on the head.
Too much emphasis on forms, not enough emphasis on relationships. And so then we create anxiety. How am I going to get paid? And what's going to happen? And how do I do these forms, instead of how do I connect with this person and figure that out?
And let's round out our 100th episode of RWorld Talk with James Dwiggins. What other kinds of advice can you give to our agents that are really trying to come out of this with their head held high and to get back to business? I mean, we know that there's so much noise out there, but what could they really be doing today to sort of hone their skills and really be able to articulate
So
value?
first thing is that everyone needs to understand the settlement terms and stop trying to skirt the rules. The plaintiff's lawyers have come out and stated exactly what the settlement terms are as their understanding of it. NAR has finally come out. On our podcast, we have a 2-part podcast where it's general counsel explaining every single detail. There's a lot of practices going on that need to stop here. You can't receive builder bonuses. That's not allowed. You cannot modify your buyer rep agreement unless you are materially changing the services that you offer. And that is a gray area I would not get into. That is a material change the buyer is requesting, and if they agree to the change, you can modify it. But there's a reason why the buyer rep agreement is signed before you show properties. Everyone misses this. The reason why that's in there is so that you agree to a rate of what you're going to charge, as well as your services offered and what you're going to give them and all the terms of that prior to seeing any house, so that you avoid steering. Right. That's the point. So
now it's transparent, and you're not going to go and take them somewhere that is going to be operating more.
It does not. I get so worked up about this. It does not matter what the seller is offering. It doesn't matter. So we trained our 6,000 people. We don't call and ask the seller what they're offering. We don't call a listing agent. I could care less what the listing agent is offering. We don't do cooperative compensation because it's a bad practice that's going to get you sued. Yep. We always have the seller pay buyer brokerage direct. I don't want to trade any money between companies because that's literally the conspiracy.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
It's just so stupid. People are not getting this, that if you're continuing to do the same practice, you're going to get sued eventually. They're waiting for a new class. They're going to give it time to create a new class. But to your point, the buyer rep agreement is designed for you to write out your fee. That's what we agreed to. Show them new builds, resale, doesn't matter what the seller is offering. You asked one question of the buyer: can you afford to pay this fee independently, or do you want me to make this part of the deal terms? And the buyer says, make it part of the deal terms. It's great. We're going to show you every property possible. We're going to make it part of the deal terms. I don't care whether the seller's offering anything or not. If they want to sell their damn house, they're going to pay the fee. The end. Right. And it's so simple to me. So this idea of like, oh yeah, well, they're offering more, or the new developer's offering a $50,000 bonus. Congratulations, you can't receive that. You agreed to the fee. That's what your fee is. Unless you're materially changing the terms of your services, do not modify that buyer rep agreement, or you're going to get yourself in trouble. It's going to happen, and they're going to make an example out of someone. Also, it's just cheap. You agreed to the damn fee. Do your job, right?
Yeah.
So if there's a bonus, have it go to the buyer. Be like, we want a credit of X towards cabinets or closing cost, whatever you want to do. But if you are...
And look at what a rock star you're going to look like to that buyer, because you just got the upgraded kitchen and the bigger tile.
Put them at the front and center of what you do.
So those were some great highlights and clips. I mean, fantastic speakers that we've had in here. Chris, what was your favorite?
My goodness. Well, out of those clips, this is a tough one because I don't want to make anybody upset, but I really enjoyed having James Dwiggins on the show. I mean, he came in with so much passion, so much energy, and really fired everybody up. And I think that that was one of the episodes that we had that really we received the most feedback about. He was brilliant in his opinion and his delivery, and certainly always love having somebody like that on the show.
Yes, he was excellent. And what's talent that we have brought into this room? I mean, all those speakers have been people that have, showcased themselves in a lot of different articles that we all read about every day. So again, such an honor that they were able to come into our studio and, do this podcast with you.
Absolutely. And with that being said, we will see you guys right back here next Friday, 8 a.m. on RWorld Talk.